What is good, YouTube? Warstu here with my trailer breakdown for episode 21 of The Flash Season 3, entitled Cause and Effect. So let's watch the trailer and then I will be back to break it down.
How did you become Savitar?
Savitar is a version of Barry from the future. He remembers everything that Barry does.
What if Barry can't remember what we're doing now?
Do you want to mess with his brain?
Just a little bit. I want to stop you from making new memories.
Let's do it.
Who are all of you? Oh my lord.
Slight
Where
miscalculation.
the hell am I? Is this a dentist office?
So this episode, Cause and Effect, is going to pick up where I Know Who You Are finished, as right at the start we see the exact same scenery. But before we go into the breakdown, I just want to go over the synopsis for the episode. Drastic times call for drastic measures. Barry takes drastic measures to stop Savitar. Meanwhile, H.R. Wells continues to push Tracy Brandt to design the trap for Savitar, and Killer Frost returns with an interesting proposal. So, it's very interesting. I am looking forward to this episode. So Barry Allen says to Barry Allen, I guess, or to Savitar, how did you become Savitar? Then we see a much clearer, crisp look at Savitar with his burnt face, and he's got a sinister look on his face. So for me, the interesting part is it's not who Savitar is, because that was a gimme, but it's more about how and why. So let me know down below, guys. How do you think he became Savitar? Which timeline is this character actually going to be from? Because it's quite interesting. And Kid Flash says Savitar is a version of Barry from the future. He remembers everything Barry does. I mean, it doesn't necessarily mean he is from the future. I mean, the only thing we know for sure that's factual is he's a version of Barry. And if he is a version of Barry, I don't think he's going to be from too far ahead, because to me, he looks younger than Barry. I mean, he literally looks the same age. He doesn't look anything old. He doesn't look older, really. The only difference is he's got a massive scar on his face, which is obviously where his body can't handle the speed. So it's going to be interesting to see when we find out like where he's actually from. And then we get Cisco saying, what if Barry can't remember what we are doing? And that's going to lead to something quite funny, as there's an awesome scene between Barry and Savitar, and they're both fighting, but Barry seems to be catching Savitar's suit with his hands and stuff, because obviously I presume this is going to be a fight where they've kind of temporarily wiped Barry's memory and he's fighting, and there's no blue charge. I mean, the interesting thing is going to be, where does this blue charge actually come from? Is the blue charge Savitar's suit coming through in terms of the Philosopher's Stone? Because obviously the Philosopher's Stone is blue, so is it not blue because of the charge not coming from the stone? Is it not blue because he can't remember Barry's memories? And then we get Joe West saying, you want to mess with his brain? And Cisco's like, just a little. So it's going to be a quite funny, quirky episode. Then Cisco's like, I want to stop you from making new memories. And what's quite interesting is Barry picks up a picture of his mother and father. So is this to tell us that he's not going to remember who his mother and father are during this episode temporarily? And then Barry's like, let's do this. Then we see some kind of device which looks futuristic. We have seen it on the Wave Rider before. I think it was either Heatwave or Professor Stein, but we've definitely seen this technology before on Legends of Tomorrow. Then Barry's like, let's do this. And then Barry kind of comes out of using this device and he's like, where the hell am I? Is this dentist? So I think it's going to be a quite funny, quirky episode. I don't think it's going to be a filler, because after this episode there is only 2 episodes left. So I think we're going to be finding out a bit of Savitar origins. I mean, the vocal point is going to be, can they stop Savitar? But obviously the answer is no, because we know in an episode after this Barry is going to get help from Captain Cold. So I think it's called cause and effect because they're going to try to do everything they can to stop Savitar, and nothing's going to work. So cause and effect, it kind of does make sense. So I'm really looking forward to this episode, as like the reaction of the internet to Barry, a version of Barry Allen being Savitar, was absolutely mental. So guys, if you've made it this far, I want to know, where do you think this Barry Allen came from? Is it alternate timeline? Is it from the future? It's clearly the darkest version of Barry Allen, and I think it's a clever villain. I mean, who knows Barry better than Barry? So, and Barry is his own worst enemy. He always has been. And then we go back to the start of the episode, when start of season, when the Reverse Flash says, "Now who's the villain? You're the villain now." So it was foreshadowing from the start of the season, and I think they played it off very cleverly. I mean, it's a bit obvious why Savitar didn't go after Reverse Flash now, because Savitar is Barry, so it makes a lot of sense. But I want to know some feedback from you guys. I want to know, which version of Barry Allen do you think this is? Is it alternate timeline? Is it multiverse? Is it Flashpoint? Is it pre-Flashpoint? Is it time remnant? I mean, there are a lot of possibilities of what version of Barry Allen this could be. So how do you think they're going to stop Savitar? I mean, stopping Savitar, the obvious option would be for Barry to kill himself. But obviously Jay Garrick is still in the Speed Force. No one's actually said anything about Jay Garrick. But I don't think it's just as simple as killing his alternate timeline version, because that wouldn't really cause the problem of how do we get Jay Garrick out of the Speed Force prison without putting someone back in there. So I think the common theory that Barry will have to sacrifice himself in the Speed Force would be quite possible, because I'm presuming whenever Barry Allen made the Speed Force prison, I'm pretty sure they said he made it, that it can't be broken from him. So someone's going to have to actually take like his place within the Speed Force prison. Anyway, guys, I'd love to know your opinions, your thoughts about the trailer, your thoughts about last week's episode. All my links from the socials are down below if you want to get in touch with me. So, guys, I'll catch you in another video. Peace out.